Once upon a time, tucked away in a green valley on the central coast of California, was a family-owned farm growing 400 acres of premium Brussels sprouts. While growing these Brussels sprouts, Baroda Farms had no idea that they were setting the stage for a classic rags to riches story, the introduction of a leafy green vegetable unlike any other, referred to in the industry as tops. A top is the terminal bud of the Brussels sprout plant and can be found haloed upon its stalk. 6 weeks prior to Brussels sprout harvest, tops are torn from the stalk to encourage additional growth of the plant. But in the past, these tops were then thrown on the ground, simply discarded and overlooked. 20, 10, even 5 years ago, this production practice made sense. But times have changed. Recently, in California and across the nation, a specialty food industry has emerged. And suddenly, the novelty, savory taste, and versatility of tops began to look much more exciting to food marketers. The emergence of this niche market has created the perfect opportunity for a Cinderella story of produce. Therefore, Poly Promotions has been hired by Baroda Farms to tell the tale of this hidden gem to the produce industry, to transform a byproduct into specialty food royalty, and to introduce the world to Belgian crowns. Our story begins with Blake and industry trends.
Recent trends in vegetable consumption, the specialty food industry, and the social nature of consumers suggest a favorable market for the introduction of Brussels sprout tops. Food sales were up by 3% in 2011, with the Brassicaceae family as a key part of this growth. Broccoli, cabbage, and cauliflower each experienced 7 to 8% sales growth in the last 5 years. Shifting trends have led to the emergence of the specialty food industry, which features products of the highest quality that have attributes such as limited supply or novelty. In 2011, 75% of consumers purchased a specialty food product, illustrating their popularity. Consumers seek out and are willing to pay a premium for these specialty foods that have significant health benefits, sustainable production, and can be traced directly back to the farm because they're associated with superior taste, freshness, and quality. As consumer tastes have shifted, so have the methods by which they discover new foods. Due to their social nature, bloggers and foodies are crucial in exposing entire networks of consumers to new foods. To find novel specialty foods, bloggers and foodies attend farm-to-fork themed events, such as Outstanding in the Field, a fine dining community affair that connects consumers to the sources of their food. Over 83% of specialty food consumers utilize social media, while half use Facebook, Pinterest, and Twitter to share their food experiences. After learning about these new foods, consumers seek them out at specialty retail outlets. In their journey from farm to fork, tops must compete with Brussels sprouts and kale, as well as newly emerging leafy greens such as artisan lettuce and other trendy superfoods. In an analysis of key health characteristics, tops are comparable to both kale and Brussels sprouts, but outpace artisan lettuce. With a taste profile that harnesses the hardiness of Brussels sprouts, but the refinement of a delicate leafy green. The versatility and novelty of tops sets them apart from other superfoods, paving their way towards ruling the specialty produce industry. The potential for direct competition stems primarily from fellow growers of Brussels sprouts. However, there is no indication that producers have devoted resources to the marketing of tops. To capitalize on this first mover advantage and distribute Baroda Farms' entire tops inventory, tops only need to achieve a less than 1% displacement amongst vegetables and leafy greens, securing a place within the vegetable market. Now, let's turn the page to Eddie, who will introduce our primary research.
Poly Promotions surveyed 311 adult female shoppers currently living in California households with average incomes of at least $50,000. Respondents were introduced to tops and asked about their produce shopping behaviors, preferences, and willingness to try a new product. Our results concluded that respondents who were significantly more likely to purchase tops shop at specialty food stores, have at least a bachelor's degree, and are more likely to learn about new food products through social media. In addition, they value health qualities, appearance, and taste over price. Our primary and secondary research pinpointed 3 prominent segments within the fresh vegetable market as potential target markets. They are the affluent Western elderly, the northeastern middle class, and the produce queens. The affluent Western elderly are willing to pay premium for fresh produce. However, they resist trying new foods with unfamiliar brand names. Meanwhile, the northeastern middle class is willing to experiment with unfamiliar foods, but demand these foods at value pricing. A balanced synthesis of these two market segments are the produce queens. This ideal target market consists of women ages 35 through 54 with an education of at least a bachelor's degree and a household income greater than $75,000. California currently harbors 1.3 million produce queens in its kingdom. These regal shoppers are concerned with supporting healthy, sustainable produce of the highest quality and are willing to pay premium for these characteristics in their meals. Produce queens seek out engaging food experiences through social media and desire to continuously integrate new ingredients into their meals, making them the ideal market segment. Now, here is Jake with our business proposition.
Our comprehensive primary and secondary research reveal that Baroda Farms tops can leverage their story as a byproduct as well as their first mover advantage to overcome a lack of consumer awareness and the threat of competitors entering the market. In order to deliver Baroda Farms tops to produce queens throughout California, Poly Promotions has identified the key assumption that tops will be supplied year-round and production will increase over the 3-year period. Our goal is for branded tops to increase the profitability of Baroda Farms by transforming a common byproduct into a unique specialty food. This goal will be attained by accomplishing objectives in the following areas: brand awareness, sales, profitability, and return on marketing investment. To access a market of sufficient size, Baroda Farms tops will reach 35% brand awareness by year 3. After accessing this market, sales will reach $1 million in year 1 and will rise to $2 million by year 3 as production increases. The third objective is for branded tops to be an increasingly profitable investment for Baroda Farms. Finally, our last objective is for Baroda Farms' return on marketing investment to reach at least 50% by the 3rd year of this enterprise. As a means to accomplish these objectives, Poly Promotions is proud to introduce to you Belgian Crowns. In the past, producers have not marketed tops due to the absence of the market for such a premium leafy green. But the recent specialty food revolution has placed your company in the prime position for the introduction of Belgian Crowns. As the first mover in this new and promising market, Belgian Crowns will become synonymous with the idea of a premium, healthy leafy green. This distinct first mover advantage will help to safeguard the Belgian Crown's market share as competitors attempt to enter the market. To generate brand awareness, a brand manager will implement and oversee a combination of traditional and innovative promotional strategies. As demand for Belgian Crowns grows, production must increase as well, by an additional 100 acres per year in years 2 and 3. These increases in production, combined with the effective implementation of the action plan, will pave the way for the successful launch of this royal product, Belgian Crowns. Now, let's move on to the next chapter of our story as Anna introduces our positioning.
Belgian Crowns will be positioned as a California-grown, healthy, sustainably produced, premium leafy green that is truly fit for a queen. The versatility of Belgian Crowns is only limited by the creativity of the hands preparing them. Their many uses include being sautéed, eaten fresh as wraps, or within salads. The brand's commitment to providing produce queens with a sustainable product is reflected through the innovative and eco-friendly packaging. The retail package will contain 4 Belgian Crowns in a clear, compostable starch clamshell, and will be sold in a retail case of 8 clamshells. The top of the package will feature the Belgian Crown logo and the American Heart Association emblem, signifying that Belgian Crowns are high in fiber, low in fat, and contain more than 10% of the daily vitamin C and K content. The bottom of the package will display a nutritional comparison of similar leafy greens and a peel-back label with a featured Belgian Crown recipe. Eddie will now discuss the pricing and placing strategy.
Belgian Crown's pricing strategy will reflect its positioning as a premium, specialty leafy green. As a result, Belgian Crowns will be distributed through specialty food stores such as Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Gelson's, and other independent retailers throughout the metropolitan and suburban areas of California. Produce queens have exhibited a willingness to pay premium prices for fresh produce that has superior appearance, freshness, health benefits, and quality, all of which is found within Belgian Crowns. Therefore, Belgian Crowns will be distributed through approximately 300 retail outlets at a wholesale price of $1.90 per clamshell, which, with a markup of 40% by distributors and 50% by retailers, leads to a suggested retail price of $3.99 per clamshell. In order to enter the specialty retail sector, Baroda Farms will leverage the influence of Frida's and other produce wholesalers with established retail relationships. The place and pricing strategies of Belgian Crowns are reflected through the promotional strategies, which Blake and Anna will now introduce.
To build primary demand, promotional strategies will focus on generating brand awareness by influencing food bloggers and early adopters. Creating a strong presence in trade publications and attending trade shows will generate demand amongst food retailers. Concurrently, the use of social media, product sampling, and event sponsorship will engage the produce queens and create a noteworthy Belgian Crowns consumer base. There are 3 paths Belgian Crowns will take to capture consumer and retailer attention. I will be introducing our first path, public relations and sponsorship, while Anna will introduce to you digital marketing and analog marketing. Let's take a look at our first path, public relations and sponsorship. Public relations will consist of 3 different activities: the Queen's Carriage, Belgian Crown Stops Breast Cancer, and the Royal Affair. The Queen's Carriage will travel to food retailers, giving produce queens a taste of royalty. Dishes will be prepared with Belgian Crowns, while promotional materials and coupons are distributed to encourage product trial. The Belgian Crowns Tops Breast Cancer Initiative will feature a pink label during October, and 2% of annual sales will be donated to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. Belgian Crowns contain many cancer-fighting agents, and because 1 in 8 women will develop breast cancer in their lifetime, Baroda Farms is passionate about finding a cure. With the help of local chefs and outstanding in the field, Belgian Crowns will host the Royal Affair, a unique culinary experience connecting consumers to the sources of their food. Belgian Crowns will be featured as the focal point of a 400-person dinner, attracting produce queens and specialty food connoisseurs, while generating brand awareness and creating excitement for produce queens. Along with public relations activities, Belgian Crowns will also sponsor influential events each year. Belgian Crowns will purchase a sponsorship at the Nike Women's Marathon to support these women, while increasing brand awareness through a strong presence at the Marathon's Expo-tique. Also, Belgian Crowns will be featured by celebrity chefs at LA Times The Taste, a Labor Day weekend event exhibiting fresh local foods to specialty food consumers.
The second path, digital marketing, will utilize a third-party marketing firm to engage consumers and generate brand awareness for Belgian Crowns. There are 3 components of digital marketing: the Belgian Crown website, social media, and blogger outreach. The Belgian Crowns website will serve as the visual and interactive home base for promotional efforts, allowing users to explore the health benefits, sustainable production practices, and innovative preparation techniques of Belgian Crowns. To encourage popular food, health, and nutrition bloggers to feature Belgian Crowns on their site, samples of Belgian Crowns will be distributed. And to select bloggers, tickets to the Royal Affair. Belgian Crowns will take advantage of Produce Queen's active role on social media by posting seasonal recipes, hosting monthly competitions, and using Facebook Marketplace ads to generate excitement. Belgian Crowns beat winter frowns, spring into a new you, summertime fit foods, and falling for Belgian Crowns are examples of the social media campaigns used to showcase seasonal recipes. The Queen for a Day monthly social media contest will be held to encourage consumers to share posts featuring Belgian Crowns. Belgian Crowns will team up with Spa Finder, a site that partners with thousands of spas, to award a spa treatment to a chosen produce queen, raising awareness for both Belgian Crowns and Spa Finder. Facebook Marketplace ads will direct promotional efforts towards produce queens. Ads will feature headlines such as Belgian crowns fit for a queen, along with a picture of tops and a click-through to the Belgian Crown website. The final path is analog marketing. Ads will be placed in the Packer and the Packer Produce Market Guide to attract retailers, while regional half-page ads in Sunset and Bon Appetit will run 1 to 2 times annually in order to capture consumer attention. These magazines have been chosen because produce queens frequently use them as a source for learning about new foods. To supplement print ads, web-enabled advertising will be featured on the Bon Appetit tablet application. Furthermore, trade incentives will be offered to retailers to feature Belgian crowns and include in-store displays. Displays will be used to catch the eye of the consumer while highlighting Belgian crowns' unique characteristics and uses. Finally, the brand manager and the Queen's Carriage will attend the Natural Products Expo West, PMA's Fresh Summit Expo, and the United Fresh Expo, showcasing the unique and profitable opportunity to stock Belgian crowns to the buyers and retailers attending the show. Now we have Nicole with financials.
The low cost of production combined with a premium specialty price make Belgian crowns a profitable venture for Baroda Farms. To maintain financial separation between their projects, Baroda Farms will create a subsidiary Belgian Crowns enterprise, which will allow them to accurately evaluate its financial success. The Belgian Crowns enterprise will purchase tops from the Brussels sprout enterprise at a rate of 4 cents per top, based on an 11% allocation of existing Brussels sprout production expenses. The topping process, by which the tops are harvested, as well as any following expenses that can be directly attributed to tops, will be allocated to the Belgian Crowns enterprise entirely. After gross sales, in-store spoilage is discounted, resulting in net sales of just under $1 million in year 1 and $2 million in year 3. Creating awareness as a brand new specialty food product takes significant investment in promotional efforts, which is reflected in Belgian Crowns marketing expenses. Due to this investment, while harvesting only 200 acres in year 1, Belgian Crowns will experience a loss. However, as more Belgian crowns are sold in years 2 and 3, an 11 and 23% profit margin respectively shows that this investment will be rewarded. With salaries, print publications, and Belgian crowns tops breast cancer all increasing into year 3, these marketing expenses are proof of Baroda Farms' commitment to the Belgian Crowns enterprise.
As Brussels sprout tops undergo their storybook transformation to Belgian crowns, monitoring and measuring methods will be implemented to ensure that objectives are met and progress is made. To monitor the brand awareness objective, consumer surveys will be issued twice a year in the months of January and July. Social media activity will also be tracked throughout the year. As brand awareness increases, consumer outreach will grow and promotional efforts will be amplified. But if Belgian crowns do not meet this objective, promotional strategies will be reevaluated to more effectively reach produce queens. The sales objective will be monitored by examining weekly sales reports and quarterly sales growth. As sales of Belgian crowns increase, relationships will be strengthened with distributors and retailers. But if the growth of sales fails to match the rate outlined in the objective, Baroda Farms will consider the possibility of expanding distribution to a wider selection of retail outlets. Third, to ensure that Belgian crowns meet the profitability objective, the quarterly net income of the Belgian Crowns enterprise will be monitored. As profitability increases, a portion of these profits will be allocated to increasing retail visibility. But if Belgian Crowns do not meet this objective, retail pricing structures will be reevaluated. Finally, to ensure that all marketing efforts are yielding sufficient returns, an analysis will be conducted of all marketing costs and efforts twice annually. If Belgian crowns meet this objective, additional funds will be allocated to increasing promotional activities. But if Belgian crowns fail to meet this objective, promotional strategies will be reevaluated and funds will be reallocated accordingly. The careful monitoring and measuring of these objectives will ensure that Belgian crowns become both a worthy and profitable investment.
In conclusion, we, Poly Promotions, are proud to introduce this marketing plan to Baroda Farms. Tops will never again be a common byproduct, as the introduction of Belgian crowns will forever transform them into specialty food royalty. With an impressive 56% return on marketing investment, the strategies outlined will be effective in creating brand awareness, generating excitement amongst produce queens, and ensuring a storybook ending for Belgian crowns. Belgian crowns are truly fit for a queen. At this time, our team would be happy to answer any questions.
Hello. Well done. I'm interested in two things. Number one, the $3.95 price point on the clams. What is the weight of that, and how does that compare then to competitive products? I don't know if that would be like a broccoli cauliflower, if it'd be kale and other greens or the specialty lettuces and things. But can you give us an idea of what that competitive landscape looks like?
We would love to. So to address that question with concerns to how the prices compare, compared to normal bunched kale, this is a slightly higher priced kale. You're going to find more around that $2.30 range, but it's not a value-added product. It's just bunched kale, and it's not very convenient because you still have to de-stem the kale and do some preparation, whereas Belgian crowns are ready to just wash and eat. When you compare them to a product such as artisan lettuce, which is more comparable based on the packaging, it's also in a clamshell and it's ready to wash and eat, you'll find it at the same price point, right around that $3.99 and $4 level.
You have a pretty big hill to climb in terms of introducing a new brand and a product that nobody knew existed before. So why did you decide to go direct to consumers versus maybe going through the restaurant route or some other professional route?
That is an excellent question that we had to strongly consider while creating this strategy. The first part of that question is we were looking at the profitability of these objectives. Would you mind bringing up the different scenarios we created, Nathan? So we created some different scenarios, assuming that marketing efforts remain fairly similar. While going to all retail, we have that 23% profit margin in the last year, where as we see more and more of our product going to food service, those profit margins begin to drop. Secondly, as you said, this is a new product, and we have a large hill to climb to create that brand awareness. So we need to make a strong, targeted, focused push to these produce queens, where if we were going to go to retail and food service, we would have to divert some of our funds and our efforts toward that food service avenue, taking away from the push to those produce queens, which might take away from some of the efforts that we could possibly make in creating the brand awareness for this product.
And do they like to be called produce queens?
The name Produce Queens is something that we developed, but from the competition thus far, which was the introduction of the name Produce Queens, I believe they've loved that name so far, and we feel confident in calling them Produce Queens. It is an internal name that we use, of course.
I have a production question. What is kind of the life cycle of these Belgian crowns once they're harvested? And how many times a year are you harvesting these?
We'll be harvesting year-round. So we have two production facilities, one in Lompoc, California, the other in Southern California in a town called Brawley. And we're harvesting year-round. Their production of Brussels sprouts is currently already staggered. These tops are torn from the stalk 6 weeks prior to that harvest of the Brussels sprouts. And like we said in our presentation, in the past, they're just thrown on the ground. But now what we'll do, instead of throwing them on the ground, they'll be put into picking sacks, transported to Broda Farms on-site cooling facility and packaging facility. At that point, they'll be stripped of their outside leaves to get a consistent weight. And then they'll be sorted for quality, and then washed, dried, packaged, and finally put into that cold storage where we'll wait for our distributor to come pick them up and take them to our retail outlets.
Okay. And you had talked about if the market penetration allowed an increase in acreage, would that be Broda Farms increasing Brussels sprout acreage and then selling the tops back to you? Or would it be you increasing the acreage and selling Brussels sprouts back to them?
That's a great question. So just to clarify, Broda Farms is currently producing 400 acres of Brussels sprouts. What we'll be doing as the Belgian Crowns Enterprise is in year one only harvesting tops out of 200 of those acres, and then increasing that by 100 acres each year, ending up with their full production of 400 acres in year three.
On the topic of target awareness, correct me if I'm wrong, but in year 3, you're hoping to be at 35% brand awareness, and that is of the queens, is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. So go back again, how you're going to measure that, the tool you're going to measure that, and where do you anticipate being in year 2?
In order to measure that brand awareness, we're going to use, as we stated during monitoring and measuring, first those consumer surveys that we'll be issuing to find out the people going to these retail locations, have they heard of our product? Where did they hear about a product? And the ways that they're hearing about it, is it prompting them to purchase? And in that way, we'll be able to monitor it. We'll also be working with a third-party marketing firm that will be hired by Baroda Farms to monitor the social media activity to see how often our product is being talked about, what kind of buzz it's creating, and then also the attitude behind the comments and the other ways that our product is being talked about. And then in year 2, we plan to be around that 20% to 25% brand awareness mark.
Where do you find the names? Either how do you find them digitally, or where do you get the names, phone numbers, or how are you going to contact them? Where are you going to find the people?
A large portion of this we will use in a similar way that we did our consumer surveys for our primary research online through Instantly, because it'll allow us to get a wide variety of consumers throughout California at a relatively low cost at only $5 per survey. Some of these surveys will also be used through the Queen's Carriage, where we can ask them prior to coming to the Queen's Carriage, have you heard of our product? What impressions do you have of it? Because that Queen's Carriage will already be traveling to those retail locations.
I have a little question on the market. It states here that you're going to be in stores such as Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Gelson's, and independent retailers throughout the metropolitan suburban areas of California. That seems like it's pretty targeted, but it sounds to me like it's pretty vague. Can you give me how many stores, how many people shop those stores, and how many Belgian crowns you might sell within that to these wonderful queens?
Of course, Nathan, could you bring up the specialty food stores slide? These are the exact numbers of the specialty food stores that we will be targeting, which is Whole Foods, Gelson's, and Trader Joe's. As you can see, the others are those new frontiers, the Bristol Farms. But we also like to mention those smaller stores that are located in those smaller cities. These stores are concentrated mostly in those larger metropolitan Los Angeles, San Francisco cities. But we don't want to forget about our produce queens that are in those more rural cities, such as Bakersfield and in the middle of California. This is where we will hit those independent retailers.
Okay, so total number of stores?
The total number of Whole Foods, Gelson's, and Trader Joe's stores adds up to the mid-200s, whereas the independent retailers and the New Frontiers adds up that last 50 stores that we will be attending.
Okay, thank you.
I have to ask a question because it seems through the literature and what I've seen on the screen, we never call these things Brussels sprout tops, or there really isn't any product definition on what a Belgian crown is. Am I correct in that? Does the packaging state that it's a Brussels sprout top?
So you're very correct in this. And where top comes from, that's simply an industry term that Brussels sprout producers refer to in the topping process. As far as connecting these Belgian crowns back to the Brussels sprouts, there will be nothing on the packaging. Since Brussels sprouts have a bit of a negative connotation, and over the years some people have come to not exactly like the harsh taste that Brussels sprouts may have, we're still maintaining our roots with that Belgian in our name of Belgian crowns. But also on our online website, we will tell the story of Belgian crowns and their rags to riches tale of how they're being raised from the ground and being transformed into a specialty royal product.
But if, I don't know, if someone's shopping, I think there's a lot of products you can say have kind of a negative connotation. Some people are like, oh, how could you ever eat a mustard green or a turnip green or something like that? If you see something that's just a Belgium crown and it has no description at all as far as like what it is, where it's from, how are you going to take that connotation or that negative? In other words, if I'm a consumer walking up to a produce case and I see endive and everything else that I know what it is, and all of a sudden I see Belgian crown, what the heck is that?
Sure, that's a great question. The first way we're doing that is through that strong marketing push. We're using almost $1 million in this marketing push to educate consumers. And that's really where the focus is in those first 3 years. You're correct that we're not connecting it back to a certain type of produce because this is the first time it's hit the market. Even if we told consumers, oh, it's a Brussels sprout top, they're not going to have any idea what that is. So we need to create that brand awareness early on so that if other Brussels sprout top producers try to come into the market, they're going to say, you know, what's this other product? I've never heard of a Brussels sprout top before. I've only seen a Belgian crown, so that's all I'm going to purchase. And then also those promotional activities will educate them. On the back of the package, we have comparisons to other leafy greens, as Eddie stated, which will give them an idea of, oh, this is comparable to leafy greens such as kale, possibly used in some of the same ways, and it has some of the same attributes.
Okay, thanks.
You have a very targeted California market, yet your advertising mix included national, print, and digital properties. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so our print ads are actually only focused in the California area. Throughout Bon Appetit, they have regional distribution of magazines, and so we have targeted just to the Bon Appetit and Sunset California distribution. So that's why our costs are a little bit lower because we're not going nationally, we're just going regionally throughout California. That's all the time.
Thank you so much.